Record. All right, big waves out there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy 2023. Can you guys believe it? It feels like to me, I don't know about you, feels like to me 22 was like 4.5 seconds. Like we started it and we ended it all in like the same exact week. So we are going to be, as we talked about last week, we're going to be doing something kind of fun in that I am compiling everybody's words and we're going to do everybody's words as we kick off this year, but we're going to start it a little bit differently in that I'm going to do the word perspective. And so we can, when I was thinking about this, I thought it was kind of funny. So I could get on here and I could have the perspective of being a little, well, I can't think of the right word. I was thinking about it, but I guess I didn't come up with a word for it. I could be a little grumpy. We'll say, oh, I have to do it by myself because coach got called into a meeting with corporate. And I could have a negative perspective, or I could have a little bit of a positive or perhaps even greedy perspective to say, I get you guys to myself today. So I'm going to choose that one. And I'm excited to be on here with just me and just you, and coach will be back tomorrow. But the word that I'm going to talk about is perspective. And the definition is a mental view or prospect, a visible scene, or the interrelation in which a subject or its parts are mentally viewed. The capacity to view things in their true relation or relative importance. And I found a whole bunch of quotes. I'm just going to give you guys a couple of them, but I found a whole bunch of quotes about it. So Humans See What They Want to See by my son's favorite author, Rick Riordan. Songs Are as Sad as the Listener, Jonathan Foer. And then what you see depends not only on what you look at, but also where you look from. And the best thing I can think of that brings this to light for me is when I think about text messages. And when you text me, I am convinced that I am hearing it or perceiving it the way you mean it, right? So if I'm in a perky little happy mood and Anita sends me a text, I'm like, oh, Anita is so chipper today. She wrote me this message in such a nice tone of voice. But if I'm a grumpy monkey and I get the same exact verbiage from Anita, I'm going to be like, wow, Anita, she sure came at me today. But the only difference in that, and you never would, I know you wouldn't, but the only difference is what's going on in here and my personal perspective. And I think that's kind of the best way I can think of when I think about perspective. And so what brought this up is kind of thinking about 2023, okay? And it can be so hard to figure out, maybe what our goals are going to be for the year, or what we think we can achieve, or what we can accomplish based on our perception, right? And our perspective. So if you think about, have you ever stepped on the scale and been like, oh, what just happened? Or you've stepped on the scale and went, oh, wow, what just happened? And the numbers are completely neutral. Like the scale doesn't care. As long as you're within its its parameters, it does not care at all what the number is. But the way we look at it is very different on our thoughts. I think about the other thing is your bank statement. Right? Maybe you go open up and it's Monday morning and your goal is to set out your finances for the week, and you go look at your savings account and you go, oh, or you go, oh, but it's all about perspective and where the power in that comes with how we change it. So thinking about that scale, when I look at that scale, if I think that that is the end all be all in either direction, right? Maybe it's a low number. It's a number, if that's my goal, maybe it's a number I haven't seen since high school that I've been striving for and I'm super excited. And I might think that nothing I'm going to do is going to change that. So I go and for breakfast, I eat, biscuits and gravy and extra bacon. And I just have this lovely breakfast. And then for lunch, I don't know what it'd be, but it'd be something that's maybe not good for my waistline. And then dinner, I do the same thing. And then I have dessert and I do all these things. And a week goes by and I jump back on that scale and I go, I wonder what happened. right? How did this change? What happened? Well, it was because my perspective was that I really had no control over what was happening on that scale. So it could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, but it really had nothing to do with me. And I say that when we look at our different things this year, especially as maybe some of us have already set some goals, or maybe we're trying to set some goals, I say that we look at where we're at with realistic and loving eyes. So we look at our bank statement and we say, okay, this is what I have in my savings account. These are where my investments are. And I'm grateful for what it is. And I'm realistic about what it is. And then I look at it and say, what can I change and how can I control it? So if we want to improve in any way, we have to know that we can. We have to have that perspective that I know that there are things that I can absolutely control, that I can absolutely control. I said it twice, so I really want to control it. Things that I definitely can change. This is where I'm at, and I know where I'm going is only going to get better. And it's just such a powerful way to look at things. So how can we do that? First of all, we've got to identify the things that we want to change. So if I say that one of my goals in 2023 is to be healthier, Andrea Rosser wants to be healthier in 23 than she was in 22 and 21 and 20 and going on back. I just want to grow in my health. Well, I need to take a moment and have the perspective to think about all the things that I do have control over. So I might not be able to control whether I catch a cootie or, I break a leg or whatever that might be. I might not be able to control that. But what I can control is I can go to bed maybe 15 minutes earlier. I turn off the television or I wind down a little bit earlier and I get appropriate amount of sleep. I can eat healthier meals. So I can make that decision to say, okay, what's the best way to nourish this body of mine? Well, I can prepare and I can eat healthier meals. I can take, does anybody know of a company that could help me? I could take really great supplements that nourish my body and give me the nutrition that I absolutely need. I can exercise regularly. So instead of focusing on the perspective of I'm a moosey moose, I catch every cootie, I look like a potato, right? These are all thoughts that I've had. So just know, like, that's coming from you from a place of this is things I've done that takes it all out of my control. Instead, I can look in the mirror and say, I can change that. I can fix that. I can do anything that I want with that perspective. The next thing is to check yourself. And the previous one might sound a little bit crazy, but we all have these limiting beliefs in areas of our life that we don't even realize it. So, maybe it's that I think okay, I'm horrible at math. I could never be good at math, so I can never be good at investing because there's too many numbers and it makes me dizzy. Well, that's a limiting belief. Any of us can learn anything with the right mindset and the right perspective. So think about areas of your life that maybe you're not even seeing the limiting beliefs that you have. So, I don't know what it is. It could be in your relationship or in your finances or in your health or in your home care. I have no clue, but just check yourself. And if there's an area of your life that has some pain points, see where you could have the perspective of this is something that you can grow and get rid of that limiting belief. Next is be open to humor. And if you need a little bit more humor in your life, just throw a text out to Tracy Turnberg. He will do something. He'll respond in some way. It will be funny. He had me giggling and my daughter giggling yesterday over absolute nonsense. It was fantastic. But be open to humor, because when you can laugh, and when you can enjoy like the silly little moments, it can completely change your perspective. Next, focus on a healthy lifestyle. They talk about a healthy belly is a healthy mind. Our mental health, our positive attitude, our just ability to see good, crazy enough, can start right here in our tummies. So go get on those probiotics. There's a little clue, right? Little plug right there. But get on some good probiotics. Go nourish yourself well and take care of your body, because it can absolutely help your perspective. It's hard to feel good when you don't feel good. Next is surround yourself with positive people. I think about your faces and how you smile and you nod, and that helps my perspective as I'm sitting here. If you all were glaring at me, I'll tell you these would be a lot shorter and probably a lot less consistent, because I wouldn't want to jump on here if I had mean faces. But I love that everybody comes on here and they're smiling and they're laughing and they're nodding and they're interacting, and it helps me stay more positive and have a more positive perspective. And then lastly, we talk about this one all the time, but practice our positive self-talk. I would never say to Melissa Jackson some of the things that I will say to myself the first moment I wake up, right? I would never look at Jim Romine and say, oh my goodness, but I absolutely would do it to myself. And not because I don't like myself, because I think I'm pretty good person, but we can get caught up with this negative perspective going on right in here. So practice that positive self-talk, practice being nice to you, and practice that in order to have a more successful and more positive 2023. So hopefully this was a good one for you guys. We will have Coach back here with us tomorrow. But I love you guys. I'm so excited that I got to kick off 2023 with all of you. And I look forward to seeing you back here in the morning. So love you guys. Have a great, great, great day.
God
Thank you,
bless.
Nancy. That was
Thank you.